want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already. Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive.
Stay up on what's happening here at Power.
It should be on. It should be on Power, Syndy.
And new events that help us connect with the community. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Power 108.9. You can also go to power1089.com to get all of the updated news and happenings here at Power. Thanks for listening.
Somebody downstairs. All right, so you do your intro. And once you do your intro, we go to the break. And then we'll bring you back on, and then we'll go get her while you in your first segment. Let me hear you, Doc.
Hey.
Keep talking. Mic check. 1, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Keep it going.
1, 2, 1, 2. My mic
Talking
sounds
regular
like
like your voice, Doc.
I am.
There you go. That's what we want to hear. There we go, Doc.
Sometimes I like to be soft-spoken.
Tell your dental assistant they gave you the wrong burr. Isn't it called a burr?
Yes.
Yes. See, I remember. Hold on. Let me hand you. Oh, that's how y'all do it now?
There are no words.
Oh.
Take it back.
I thought you had to hold it like this or something. You grab it with your finger. Is that how y'all do? Oh my goodness! I went to school for this. I wasted my money.
You did. You really did. Especially like me, because I'm a grabber. So I'm just taking anyway. Like, you taking too long. Shit, these kids crying.
Oh, that's what you were with kids. That's right. Syndy B, it's 7:02. You don't even have your headphones on.
7:02.
Don't blame me. Don't blame me. We've been ready. She's been gone for a while. She's a little rusty. It's kind of like She's kind of like the Golden State Warriors tonight. They're gonna be rusty. They haven't played in a while. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. This is the Unbroken Experience with Syndy B. That's Dr. Toni right there.
Hey.
Huh?
I really need help.
You need.
It did an upgrade and now I'm feeling my live.
Move this back some because it's about to go off.
Okay. And now what? Always go the hard way. Okay. Thank you.
Did you hear what Colin them sing yesterday? The national anthem?
Yes, I did, of course. Of course.
Check. How's the air? The air okay?
Yes, it feels great.
It's another small fan right there by you too. If you need to turn that on.
Just light.
Turn the light off if you need to.
What do you need?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. My eyes aren't too bad right now. I'm still hanging on. Hi, Mama. I see you. Hi. Hold on.
Okay.
Hey, Charity. We're about to get started, y'all.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Looking to start your own radio show? Or maybe you'd like to be a guest on one of our
Hey, Kim.
You may even want to
Hey,
tell us
Mama.
what a great job we're doing or how we can do better. Simple solution. Email any requests, bookings, or suggestions.
Cheers, cheers. We are here. I am back, y'all. It is Thursday, 7 o'clock. You are listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. Did y'all miss me? I was only gone a week. I missed y'all. But I am back. I've got some special guests. Some are here, some are on their way, but it is what it is in this Atlanta traffic. But we're going to talk about them. We have a new talk show coming out called Doctors on Call. Okay, but we do have one in the building because y'all know I don't like to toast by myself. Okay, so we have Dr. Toni in here. Cheers.
Cheers. Hey, everybody.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here.
Yes, you look beautiful.
Thank you. So do you, Mom.
So you ready to get to talking about what the show is all about?
You know I am.
So I have to tell you, yours truly is on the show as well. Okay, but it's not about me right now. Okay.
It's not about any of us. That's the good thing, right?
Exactly. You really said that. It's not about any of us. It's all about y'all, which is one of the things that we say. It's all about y'all and what's going on. I mean, we all experience the same things or similar things, similar stories, but it's all about everybody else, right?
That's what I love about it.
So today, on top of talking about the new talk show that's coming out, Doctors on Call, we're also going to talk about, and I want to know the concept behind it. So we're going to talk to the creator, Dr. Tina Champion, when she gets here, and also work-life balance. Can we have it all? Can we have it all? That's what we're going to talk about. And also, is your relationship prepared for success? Is your relationship prepared for success? We are going to talk about all of that when we get back. Okay, you are listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9, and we'll be right back.
You coming back quick. I got that clip too, okay. You ready, Syndy?
Oh, no, he was just asking about the picture. He had a picture. I'm like, oh, is this
Gotcha.
He was pointing to Helena.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. Okay, so listen, we have some special guests in the building and coming to the building, and we're going to talk about a new talk show that's coming out called Doctors on Call, and yours truly is one of the castmates for this talk show. But before we get into that, so we can wait on Dr. Tina Champion, who is the creator of the show. We're all working. So you came from work today.
Yes.
Traffic or no?
A little bit, but it was against traffic. I was out in Canton.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So with that being said, and I come from Gwinnett.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the area you live in too, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So successful dentist. If you all didn't know that, didn't watch my my posts over the last couple of days. Work-life balance. What do you think about that? Can we have it all as women between work, our family, husbands, or if you're just in a relationship? Can we have it all? What do you think about that?
I think it depends on what you define as having it all.
Okay.
I think that you can have little bits of everything. That's how I, set my life up, bits of everything at certain times.
Okay.
So you have to be flexible, I think,
Now,
with that.
Now you have children, right?
Yes, I have one son.
Okay. And so he's grown, young?
Yes, 19.
So did you find that you had a harder balance when he was younger to satisfy your aspirations in dentistry or anything else that you wanted to do? Did you find that you had more time or more leisure to do so?
Not when I was raising him, because that was my focus. Now I have more time to do the things that I want to do. So that's why I'm more involved in some of the community activities. But when he was a child, no, that was my focus. So I had to work. I may have wanted to specialize or thought about specializing, but I didn't want to do that because it was very important for him to have a certain level of stability. So I wanted to be mom.
Okay.
I went to work and I wanted to be mom. It was important if I worked closer to home. It was important that I was out of the office at a certain time. It was important for me to be home to make dinner, to do homework, to take him to football practice. So those things were important to me. And career was important as well, but I had to find that balance in between the two. And I was divorced at the time when I was, when he was
So you
younger.
were a single mom when he was at a younger age?
Yes.
Okay.
When we divorced when he was 5. So 5 till I got married probably another 5 years ago. So a lot of majority of his life, I've been divorced.
So what would you say, because I know you and you're always very happy, always very optimistic. What would you say, having experience being a single mother for a period of time, working, being there, for your son and his activities and his grades and things like that. What would you say to single moms out there in terms of not letting it wear them down? What is a piece of advice that you would give?
First thing is that you have to give yourself some room. You're not perfect. You're not going to be perfect, and you have to accept that. I was very lucky because his father is very involved. So I had a lot of free time every other weekend, and I had a lot of support with that. So it was been a little bit easier for me and some because we were pretty good at co-parenting. But I would say to moms that you need to give yourself a break sometimes. Like, you can't expect perfection all the time, and no one expects you to be. It's not a contest, just do the best you can, and sometimes, chicken nuggets is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
$5 pizzas from Riverside on our side of town.
$5 pizza. Sometimes it is what it is. Try to do better tomorrow. Make some vegetables, okay?
So I hope you all heard that, because I know that, we all been single at a point in time. Some of us had kids, some of us didn't. And in life, just in general, it's hard to balance. Sometimes you're just regular personal life, and then you add kids on that, and you want to be present. And some are able to figure it out, and some are not. But I like what you said, that just, take it day by day. Just chill, okay? Just chill. So listen, guys, we have creator of Doctors on Call that popped in the building. We're going to let her get settled. But I have a question for you also still, Toni.
Okay.
So so you've been married now?
My second marriage, 5 years.
Okay. So how was it? How old was your son when you and your husband met?
He was 7.
7. So tell the people, because that is one of the questions that people ask a lot. When is the right time to introduce your child to someone that you're seeing and dating? I'm going to start with that one first, and I have another question after that.
Okay. I'm trying to think, because honestly, my husband was the only person my son met. I dated a lot.
Okay.
But my husband was the only person that he met.
Okay.
And it was the way that he carried himself and his interest to meet my child. And I felt that he was a stable person. A lot of people you may be dating, but they're not material to be in your life. So you have to know the difference between somebody you're just kicking it with and somebody who's real material to settle down with. And before you expose your children to that, because everyone is not material and they don't need to be treated as such.
Did y'all hear that? But okay, so with that being said, before your husband, did you find a in-depth liking, to someone else where you were thinking about, is this the right time?
I liked people, but if they weren't right, hindsight being 2020.
Okay.
At the time you're like, ooh, I like him, but he's not acting right and he's not treating you right. So am I much more infatuated? And you keep it real with yourself. Like, I think I just may be more infatuated than this is like a two-way. This may not be truly a two-way street. Like, my intentions and your intentions are not matching up.
Yes.
So, on some gut level, I felt that with certain people. And so you just kick it. You're just like, look, I'm just kicking it.
I think you said the right thing. The gut feeling. I remember after my first divorce, dating, then really having a liking to someone, and then my friend was like, "But is he really that bomb though?" And I was like, "Well, now that you say it like that, no, but it was what it was after marriage." But I like that. So when we come back, I have to introduce you all to a special guest, a part of my guests here today, Dr. Tina Champion, the creator of Doctors on Call, and she's going to tell us all about the concept, where it came from, where she's going with it, and we'll give you a little taste of a little preview of it, okay? You're listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9, and we'll be right back. Highlights and stuff. I need to touch up. Thank you.
If y'all would have seen her walking down Battery Avenue, she walked so fast past space. I was gonna let her keep walking at first, and then I called her.
Tina, hello.
I was gone. That was my power walk. That was my exercise for the day. In heels, yup. You know how we do.
Okay. That is too funny.
Hi, yeah.
Okay. No worries.
Huh? Our application.
It's due today.
And then she left a 3-minute message. Yeah. I just deleted it. I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it. Right. Pull your mic up sound for me. There you go. All right, start this over. You ready?
Welcome back. You're listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. Listening to single ladies up in here, but none of us is single right now. Nobody in here is single right now, but we were single one time.
Yeah.
At one point in time, we figured it on out. So I have to introduce you all to my special guest, and she missed the cheers, so we're gonna re-cheers. Because I know I love to do my cheers. Dr. Tina Champion.
Hey,
Hi,
cheers.
darling.
Hello, ladies.
Yes.
Hello.
So you are the creator of Doctors on Call.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
And I want to tell the listeners a little bit about the concept of what is the Doctors on Call. What is the concept behind it?
Mm-hmm. So I think essentially the concept is that how do we empower our people? How do we empower the listeners in a way that they're going to get the information and it won't be stale, won't be dry, and it won't be boring? Because, if it's exciting, that's more of a reason and of a chance that it'll actually get in and they'll
Yes.
get something out of it, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. So when you say information, what information are you talking about?
Well, essentially, we're all practitioners.
Yes.
You are a practitioner of love and relationships.
Oh,
Thank you very much. And then the other three of my fellow sisters on the show are dentists. But we also, in addition to being dentists, we also have our own outside interests. And so I think that brings extra flavor to the show and lets people know, well, do we practice what we preach? What do we do outside of the show? So I think that's that added umph that makes people actually want to tune in and see what they need to know about their health, how to improve, what's new and improved out there, and where to go from there and keep it that way, right?
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So although majority, with the exception of myself, is dentist, Toni, you have you're involved in the Alzheimer's community in some capacity, right? I saw you post something recently. I think you were volunteering somewhere. What made you be involved? Because I know on the show you've mentioned it a couple of times as well. Have you experienced that personally in your family, or what would you like for the audience to know when it comes to Alzheimer's?
Oh, what I would say is I have experienced it in my family, and it runs in my family. And what made me decide to volunteer was the death of my uncle. Well, my grandfather died from it, and he lived with it for probably about 20 years.
Okay.
My uncle, probably my favorite uncle, I was like his child. He passed away from it, and just seeing the difference in his treatment. His wife, bless her, but wasn't cut out to be a caretaker. Okay. Whereas he took care of his father, who was my grandfather, just selflessly.
Okay.
And so seeing the difference between that, and I remember being angry at her, but because it's a human feeling to be angry. And so I just took all of that, and then the fear of getting older, of the elderly, not so much like getting older and you like, oh, I'm still fly at 50, right. Yeah, sexy at 60. Right. No, like 80 dementia.
Right.
What is that like? What is that like living in the home? And so I took that fear and I was like, look, I'm going to need to figure this out, and I want to help people and be able to empower people, and I want to spread the message, and I just, want to get the information out there so it won't be as scary to people. So the biggest thing I would want people to know is to know the signs of Alzheimer's disease, because dementia and Alzheimer's disease are not the same thing.
I was going to ask you that because my grandmother had dementia, but I will say that I'm not familiar with the difference of the two. Are you able to share a little bit?
A little bit.
Okay.
Pretty much, Alzheimer's disease is a disease where the connections between the brain cells are lost.
Okay.
That is why it's fatal. Dementia is not fatal. Alzheimer's disease is fatal. So a lot of people, because there's a lot of attention with Alzheimer's, they want to get comfortable and be like, oh, well, I have Alzheimer's. They don't want to accept that they just have dementia.
Got it. Okay.
But then when you know that Alzheimer's is fatal, no, it's fatal. You're going to die if you have a diagnosis of Alzheimer's. And that's because eventually those connections break down, and you end up not being able to function, swallow. Like my grandfather lived in a vegetative state. It had to be a good 10 years.
Wow.
But we had care at the house.
Right.
So, he had excellent care, but it's rough. It's a rough disease. And so
that's really interesting. And I wanted to kind of put that out there for you guys, because these are some of the things that are covered on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you do a great job of making sure that is put out there on all areas, not just dentistry, but all health concerns, whether it's high blood pressure or heart health, and things of that nature. But I want to ask you a question that I asked Dr. Toni earlier: is work-life balance? Can we have it all? Can we as women? Can we have it all? Can we work beyond your typical 9 to 5? Just, where I grew up with 2 working parents, both educators, and they pretty much, this is their job, and they come home. Now, if they do volunteer work or, anything, of course, we was in the church all the time, but outside of that, like your entrepreneurial aspirations or talk show that you're getting off the ground, can you have it all and maintain your family foundation? What are your thoughts on that?
I think you can. And I think if you can't or you don't know how, then you need to ask questions to figure out how, because life is more than our aspirations. It is more than work.
Sure.
To be totally fulfilled and balanced, I think you have to have, outside of work, you have to have that personal love life that also gives you that additional satisfaction, right? So my mom was super mom. So, I tried to idol myself after my mother, but she also was able to do that work-life balance. And I think that was, somewhat of a challenge for me, only because when you've got work and then you come home to kids and the husband, and don't mention any outside extracurricular interests that you might have, then it becomes a little challenging. But hey, where there's a will, there's a way. And if you don't know, now you know. Ask the question. Ask the question.
You are so right.
But
I know when when my kids were, born, I wanted to be home. Now I always had stay-at-home work because my background is banking and finance. So I've always had an income coming in. But once I realized where my purpose was, I went, full force.
100%, yeah.
But I did communicate with my husband of what what I wanted to do and his thoughts on it. Thankfully, I have a very supportive husband, but this last year has been like a whirlwind of new great things I've been working on for a long time are starting to reveal and open up and all that kind of stuff. And I remember feeling like I was walking around like a zombie for a minute, just
you probably were.
I probably was.
Absolutely.
But I remember a little bit of guilt and fear kind of snuck in there. And so my next question, I'll ask you, Toni, first, is your relationship prepared for success? Before I answer that, I want to say, how would you answer that question? Is your relationship prepared not just some people's success is different, for everyone, but let's say, which we know well, the talk show will take off and then you're busy, you're doing appearances, you're doing this and other. Is your relationship prepared for that?
It has to be.
Okay. Well, you heard that. One response. It has to be. So he best to know. Okay. Well, what would you say?
Well, having been through divorce,
okay,
23 years of marriage, and starting over. Heck yeah, right. That's what I say. But anyway, yes, the girl is still here, alive and kicking.
And
but
fire.
But I will say that my next partner and my current boyfriend, I think you have to have a foundation that's similar, and you have to have an understanding of one another's goals, aspirations, and know who you are, know who you are, know who he is, and know who one another is together. And then I think if you have that understanding, then you're actually working together as a team to actually get it done and communicating.
Yes.
I think that's the key, communicating. So it can be done.
I completely agree. You guys can put some messages in there and let me know any challenges you have with balancing your relationship and your career. We'll definitely pick this topic up another time. When we come back, I want to ask the question: do you think relationships are overrated? Do you think relationships are overrated? I don't know. We're going to respond to that. But you know what time it is? The 7:30 hour is coming up. And we got our 7:30 crazy. I'm going to want to know when I read this story to you. Do you think it's 7:30 cray or nah? Okay. You're listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. And we'll be right back. Cray.
Hey, y'all, she said she's going to adopt me into the family.
Okay, so he's official.
I'm going to go on vacation.
I'm auntie.
In a suitcase or on the I like to be in the know. I don't know. Now I know. Come on the Syndy B show to hear about the 7:30 crazy.
Can I have some more drinks?
Hey,
Baby.
Exactly.
And women are fantastic multitaskers. Yes, we are. I wouldn't know what the world would do if we did not.
We gonna have her though. She gonna be on Monday. She wasn't ready. She got home at 6. She's like, well, okay. I'm like, Tasha, it'll take an hour. It'll be over. It should be awesome though. You play good music. Really good. Awesome.
And here we go.
Call me crazy one more time.
Laughing while he does it. He turns to me and he says, "Why so serious?"
Boy, you so crazy.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
You ain't seen no sign of him being crazy. Deranged.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Unbroken Experience with Syndy B. And it's 7:30. Time for that 7:30 cray cray story. Okay, so listen up. I received this from HuffPost. All right, woman spends 6 hours in surgery hoping to look like Meghan Markle, who is married to the prince, y'all know. Okay. Tanya Ricardo of Houston loves the Duchess of Sussex so much that she's willing to go under the knife to look like her. She says she's graceful, a very, very graceful woman, Ricardo told Inside Edition. She added, I want what she has that I don't. Ricardo, a 30-year-old oil industry professional and mother, recently underwent 6 hours of surgery, getting 8 different procedures, including liposuction, suction under her chin and under her tummy, hips, lower back, a Brazilian butt lift, and cheek contouring and a filler. She has these great curves. What I want is to achieve the same thing through here, Ricardo said while pointing at her hips and midsection. Get rid of this so I have a great flat stomach. She says her friends and her family think she's crazy, but what do you think? Your face, Tina. What do you think, Tina? Is this 7:30 cray cray, or is this, oh, this is normal?
Yeah, it's definitely a 7:30 cray cray. It reminds me of that one chick, probably like, okay, I'm aging myself, at least 10 years ago, that tried to look
Barbie?
Angela, I think it's her and the one that tried to look like Angelina Jolie.
Oh, yes.
Man, are you kidding me? Man, you better be you and be the best you can be, because what happens when she gets older? You gonna look like the old her, or you gonna look like the new young her? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
What
do you think, Tony?
Too much.
It was definitely 7:30 crazy. Okay, so listen. But I don't, I think plastic surgery, if that's what you want, is okay. But don't take it too far. You end up on an episode of Botched.
Right.
Okay. Oh, is that her? Oh. So
wow.
if you're watching us through the studio, you'll see the story on Inside Edition. Oh heck no, you're not gonna look like Meghan Markle, honey. That is just all natural genetics and genes. Okay. But between the girl who wanted to look like Barbie, there's a Ken Barbie.
I saw that
Oh,
one.
I saw that one too.
And then people are going all over the place to save on money and ended up on Botched, getting concrete injected in their cheeks, in their booty, all kinds of tomfoolery. Okay, so listen, if someone asked me recently how I felt about Botox because she's older and she's never needed a thing, and she needed a thing now, but you start feeling, you're like, okay now, okay. And I told her, I said, if I get older, I've never had a wrinkle and I don't know anything about that. But if it comes and I'm like, oh hell no, I'm going to get me some Botox. I'm going to learn a little bit more about it, how
Absolutely.
often I got to keep it up and all that kind of stuff.
And that's the good thing about the show. We try to educate you about what you should look for, questions you should ask. I'm all about enhancement when needed.
Absolutely.
And shop around, get the right price, make sure they are licensed.
Okay. I don't know so much about that shopping around.
No, because girl, somebody might charge you $5,000. Somebody might charge you $4,000.
I'll tell you this. I need a whole
licensure and referrals.
I need a whole referral. So obviously we're gonna have someone professional come on this show at some point in time, so we can get all our answers, answered professionally. Okay. So listen, when we come back, I do want to ask that question: do you believe relationships are overrated? I want to know that. I want to talk about that a little bit more, okay? And after breakup, divorce, would you do it again? You're listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9, and we'll be right back. You're right.
Because you got her jeans, that's right.
If you look at her,
really,
then I'm on the right track.
All right.
But she takes a lot of vitamins and stuff. I need to take some vitamins.
Yeah, you do. You have to.
I do.
Yeah, even with elastin, you want to increase that elastin production.
I got my things that I need to get right before I left for Chicago. I am going to be on it.
Hey, somebody parking. Somebody's at the green deck.
I saw.
I'm not sure who it was. Okay.
I know she's our favorite. She's like an angel. She really does, and I wanted her to talk about her book. She needs to talk about her book. Seriously. She already. I thought she already did the one book already. We had the book release.